Drama on Capitol Hill over President Obama's nuclear deal with Iran. A very tense exchange between presidential candidate Senator Marco Rubio and Secretary of State John Kerry. Listen to this.
This is a deal whose survival is not guaranteed beyond the term of the current president. And by the way, I personally hope that the next president is someone who will remove the national security waiver and reimpose the congressional sanctions that were passed by Congress, because this deal is fundamentally and irreparably flawed. I believe it weakens our national security, and it makes the world a more dangerous place. The only people this deal does anything for directly are the Iranian officials who want to continue to jail and execute their people, who hate Israel and seek to wipe the Jewish state and its people from the face of the planet, who want to spread mayhem throughout the Middle East and continue to help Assad slaughter the Syrian people and perhaps kill some Americans and Israelis while they're at it.
You know, I listened to a long list of your objections here about it. But there's no alternative that you or anybody else has proposed as to what you...
I sure have, Secretary Kerry. I have.
And I am confident that the next President of the United States will have enough common sense that if this is being applied properly, if it's being implemented fully, they're not just going to arbitrarily end it.
Senator John Thune joins us. Good evening, sir. And I think everyone agrees that the goal here is that Iran never has a nuclear weapon, but very divided on how we get there. Republican senators, two of them today, said that Secretary Kerry is being fleeced and bamboozled.
Right. Yeah. Well, I thought that was a good description, and one people can relate to. But I thought that what went on today, what you saw was the president's team and Secretary Kerry had said at one point that no deal is better than a bad deal. And now it's like we've got no alternative. So their message has changed completely, and he was very defensive. And there was bipartisan opposition. It wasn't just Republicans on the panel. You showed the clip of Marco Rubio, but there were Democrats as well who were expressing concerns. And I think what's happened is the goal was to dismantle Iran's nuclear program, and instead what this deal does is legitimizes it.
Why do you oppose it? I mean, why do you think this won't work?
Well, first off, what I think it does is you got the nuclear program, which they can keep intact, and in 10 years, I mean, the breakout time is going to be zero because
peaceful enrichment.
They can continue, well, for industrialization, but you know what they're going to use it for. I mean, they don't need an industrial program in Iran. And the advanced centrifuges that they continue to be able to work on during that 10-year period are going to put them in a position that the breakout period is going to be virtually zero. But the other thing that I think should concern people is they expanded the deal to lift the embargo on conventional arms and ballistic missiles, which means in 5 years they'll have conventional arms, in 8 years they'll have ballistic missile technologies, and they'll have the money. They'll be way richer and able to continue to inflict terror on the region and around the world.
Well, I know that there's going to be some inspection, and there's a controversy about how much inspection it is, but what I still have not had answered for me is why didn't the IAEA or why didn't the rest of us know about the Fordow facility that Iran finally admitted to in 2012? You know, why were they able to keep that so secret?
Well, and I think that's the concern. And basically what Secretary Kerry is saying, you know, we have to trust Iran. They've said that they're not going to, you know, have these secret sites. But when you don't have any time, anywhere access except to these key nuclear facilities, what they did at Fordow could happen other places. And if you don't have access to military sites, you have to wait 24 days now before you can go in and actually look at these things. So I think that that's a real problem with this deal as well.
You know, and nobody thinks Iran has much good faith. And I think if they released Hekmati, Abedini, Razion, and told us where Bob Levinson was, because it's not part of the deal, that would at least be an olive branch, sort of a gesture of good faith, because they're not obligated to do that under this deal.
They're not, and it should have been part of the deal.
Oh, I don't think so, actually.
If they wanted to express good faith, but I also think that, you know, if they had some behavioral change incorporated in this, but you don't see it. You still have their supreme leader and their people yelling death to the USA and death to Israel. This is a real concern, and I think probably the best representation of that is that you've got all the folks in the region, Israel, and all of our Arab allies who are very, very up in arms about it.
Well, I think all four need to come home, and now. You know, I wish they were all home and on a plane. But
yeah,
anyway,
I agree.
Senator, nice to see you, sir.